Hello everyone. So I guess you are on your top of your main preparation. What we will do for this night, if you some of the people are night birds who will be studying on the this time. So what I thought that I will help you with this mains preparation. Like we will do a quick revision every night. Okay, every night 2 or 3 hours we will do a quick revision. So within this 30 days or 30 or 40 days that is left, you can cover most of the maximum portions. Okay, so let's see. First thing regarding the mains, as you know that since the mains exam is on the clock, your preparation, whatever you have studied, be confident with those portions. Okay, if you have to study more, you can study like only the crisp points. Okay, some of the definitions, or like some of the important quotes, etc. Study more of the quotes daily. Read at least 3 to 5 or maximum 10 quotes every day, and try to just when you're sipping the coffee, or when you're just having your food, etc., or even when you're spending your time in bathroom also, try to just think in your mind about that quote. Okay, if suppose that quote is there in your essay paper, what can be the points that is coming to your mind, so you can think something like that. Okay, so this will really help you in writing a quick answer. Second fact is that when you're writing the answer, you must be having the stamina to write for stretch long hours. So start practice to sit for long hours, likely 2 hours, 3 hours, sit straight. Okay, start writing with a pen. Within the time, no need to move from your table, no need to check your phone again and again. Have the habit, like always feel that in the 30 days, that is upcoming 30 days, practice like you're sitting in the exam hall itself. So that will help you more in your streaming your body language, or streaming your body clock with the examination writing. That is one thing you have to always have in practice. I hope this is last minute in which you cannot just ignore this preparation. Okay, if you have prepared well with your subject syllabus, etc., that is one part. But if your body is not cooperating to write whatever that you have studied, then there is nothing worth for doing all the syllabus in your brain. Okay, so if the syllabus is thorough also, your body language or your body needs to have such preparation. Like your brain is having the syllabus prepared, your body needs a preparation to handle the pressure in the examination hall. Your body should be capable to write like 4,000 words. Okay, 4,000 words in the morning session, 4,000 words in the evening session. So you have to have that stamina to write. So your hands should not get tired. So try, when you're writing in, how many words you are able to write. Most probably most of the toppers will be writing like 3 500 words, etc. Okay, some may be writing 3 200 words. It's not about the quantity of the words, it's always about the quality of the words. Your body of the content should be the crux, but beyond the body, your introduction will give the examiner and one idea, like whether you have understood the question or not. And the first line in your body and the diagram that you have presented for that will give, simply don't waste your time by drawing any random diagram, because any random diagram will not help you in ending anything. Because if you're just keeping a random diagram, it's not going to work. Okay, because that random diagram will itself cause you to reduce the mark. You would have spent your time in drawing the diagram, but the randomness of the diagram that appeared for the question, if that is not suiting the question, the examiner might think that you are just writing something to fill up the paper. Don't do anything to just fill up the paper. Okay, so now what we'll do this night as a productive point is that we will discuss some of the important current affairs sections. Okay, there's some issue with the webcam, that's why the webcam is not on. I hope everyone is listening to the audio, because audio is more convenient than the video. Because in video you might have a distraction of looking at me, but in the audio you will be having a thorough listening power. If you have any doubts, you can comment it over, we will discuss on those points also. Okay, so now the first thing that we will discuss is about the us is having a lot of sanctions right now. The sanction that is us is putting is always in news. So regarding the us relationship, a sanction related the economic aspect, some news can pop up. Then eu for european union, what is the impact, such kind of news will also happen in either ir paper or in the gs3 paper. So us plans actions on russia's trade partners. So what it mean for India? Let's see that in the simple points. Okay, the impact of US sanction on India-Russian oil trade. Okay, today there was one article in the Hindu, like in the editorial section, if you remember, that we can reduce our we can reduce our trade deficit. Okay, not the fiscal deficit, we can reduce our trade deficit if we are trying to diversify our energy resources. Okay, so if you relate this also, the energy resource is one thing that will affect the energy resource, as we rely so much on the renewable source of energy like the oil. Our dependence on the oil, our import of the oil is huge. That is one thing that is affecting our trade deficit. And second thing is that whenever we are depending on the oil on the nations, whenever there is some kind of international crisis, okay, international war or any kind of situation, the sanction, etc., that deeply affects India, because we don't know which country we have to stand. So taking a balanced approach is always important, because we are too much dependent on the oil. So how the US sanction on the India Russian oil trade will be impacting? Okay, exactly, what exactly is this US sanction threat on the countries that is trading with Russia, and how far this will be impacting a country like India? That is what we are going to discuss now. So as you know that Russia is one of the country from which India is always importing the oil, the Russia India oil trade sanction. So Union Petroleum and Natural Gas Minister, okay, recently our minister Hardeep Singh Puri have said that he have dismissed all the concern related to the US sanction. Okay, whether the US sanction will be impacting India Russia oil trade. Okay, regarding that, all those kind of possible concern whatever was raised by the media, he totally dismissed all those points, because India has diversified the sources of supply. One thing that we see that when we come to the SDG goals, we have to diversify our energy resource. That is one point. But in the same way also, India has diversified the sources of supply from where we are getting. That is, we are not totally dependent on one country, we are depending on different country. Okay, source of supply, and we have gone, I think, from 27 countries that we used to buy oil. We used to buy oil from 27 countries first. Okay, that is only a small group. So if anything is happening to these 27 countries, we will be always in a weakened position, because our oil dependence is putting us in a weaker position. But now what happens, that was one of the reason why the previous Iraq war, Kuwait war, etc., was impacting India so much. Not just our Indian residents who are living there is the only problem. It's not just a job loss of it, it is not just a loss of the foreign remittance that these people used to bring to our country. It is not just that. It is just whenever such kind of happening that happened in the Middle East crisis, because Middle East is a sensitive region always. So whenever those kind of things happen, now that is not about Middle East, now it is about Russia, because today the entire world, some or the other country is in war with the other country for a border, for a land, for dispute, etc. So earlier India, which was dependent on only 27 countries, now we have diversified our sources of supply, and now we are depending on 40 countries. So from 27 we are having a 40 countries from anywhere we can get oil. It's not that we are depending on only these 27 countries. If something is happening with the Russia, that is, if US is bringing a stricter notion, what we feel now is that we have other 39 options also. We will go with those 39 options. So there is nothing that will be affecting our domestic economy, because how if a sanction from US is happening to the Russian India oil trade, how that will be affecting India, that is Indian domestically, how it will be affecting you, because the bindi that you used to purchase from the market that used to come for like 30 rupees, you may have to now pay like 50 rupees. Why? Because the transporting charge will be affecting, because the petrol, the availability of the diesel, etc., will be low when the sanction from the oil happens, because if we are depending solely on Russia, those kind of situation happens. So when the transporting cost becomes high, because the petrol barrel rate is increasing, the transporting cost is increasing, means everything will increase, because the farmer who has to purchase the fertilizer. Okay, fertilizer is something very heavy. Okay, not like in one packet you will bring it. For a farmland, for a big farmland, the even fertilizer has to come from the transportation. So the transported fertilizer, the cost will be increased. Already in the market itself, the product price itself will be rising. Every product price will be increasing. So from the food supply products to everything, from the production process, each and every sector, the production, consumption, distribution, every sector will be having an increased cost. Why? Because oil is something that is needed for all the transportation. So if the transportation cost is rising means then that will be impacting the domestic economy because the inflation rate in the market will be increasing. That is one point. And same thing is that on the same day that minister have said, like our external minister, okay, external affairs ministry spokesperson has said that the double standards, okay, that is second, the energy needs of people is understanding and overriding priority for us, okay. In this we are guided, that is whatever is needed for the market should be available is a first priority. Even the global circumstances is not favorable also, our first priority is that ensuring our global market, ensuring that the domestic market is running smooth, okay. So in such cases we may have to we should particularly caution against any double standards on this matter, okay. So the comments come in response to the why this is in news, because the NATO chief Mark Rutte recently said that countries buying oil from Russia will be facing secondary sanction from the US. Okay, already we are planning to reduce the tariff, US tariff. Okay, India US tariff. Tariff related topics are coming to an end very soon. So in such situation we cannot totally ignore, or we cannot totally say no to US also. In the same way, the Russia is one of the important trading partner for us, so we have to get a balanced approach on this scene. Okay, this is one news. And if you look at what is the reaction to the new Trump proposal from in the West, because while many believe that Trump is finally battling for the right thing. Okay, after targeting Zelensky, after targeting Ukraine for many months and refusing commit to more aid, now still the US is also not in that high position as it used to be in. Okay, and second thing is that how this will be. Should India have worry on this if suppose a Russia oil sanction is happening for India? Then should India worry? India and Russia do have high volume of bilateral trade. According to the Indian embassy in Russia, the bilateral trade between India and Russia is like it is reaching the record high, like it is reaching touching in 24-25 in the financial 2024-25. It is like nearly 5.8 times big, 5 times higher than the pre-pandemic trade. Okay, that is in pre-pandemic our trade with Russia was like 10.1 billion. Now it is like 68.7 billion. That is 5.8 times higher than the previous pre-pandemic trade relation. So our trade with the Russia has drastically improved, and the trade volume is high, very high. Okay, while major Indian exports to Russia is the agriculture products like the fish, the shrimp, the rice, tobacco, tea, coffee, grapes, and some of the chemical products like the pharmaceutical, and also one of the important thing, the main industry, the iron and steel is also something that we are exporting to the Russia. The major import that we are getting from the Russia is mainly oil and petroleum product. The second one is the fertilizer. Third is the bituminous substances, and fourth is mineral fuels and mineral waxes. So totally mineral rated and petroleum products, then fertilizer, the bituminous substance. India started buying oil in bulk from Russia after the West is putting sanction on the West put sanction on the Moscow in 2022, and it lowered the prices for willing buyers. Okay, there was earlier the West has put a sanction on the milk. Okay, so when the milk sanction has happened in 2022, what Russia said that whoever is willing to buy from us, we will give you the maximum reduced cost. So India had took that opportunity, and we have started to buy huge volume of milk from those country. Despite being we have our own milk production in highest rate. Okay, in May this year, India imported crude oil worth like dollar 4.42 billion and petroleum products of 441 million, coke, coal, briquettes worth of 387 million as per the OEC. Okay, as per the OEC data, this is the current situation. So, however, India can turn to any other sellers if the US is hitting very hard. US hit with the damaging sanctions for buying oil from Russia. Then we have other option, like we said that we have 40 countries. From the 40 countries, if Russia is omitted, we have 13 and other options. Okay, so our minister is saying that we can go for other option. That is one thing. Additionally, Russia is the main trade partner in China. Russia's main trade partner is China. It is unclear if the US has the appetite for another trade war with China. Okay, because Russia's one of the important trade partner is China because of the geography itself. Because our trade partners most why Russia is a favorite trade partner for us. One reason is because our geographical proximity. Even though our relationship with China in previously, now the relationship is smoothing, so we cannot comment on those lines. So even it was not in the favorable situation. Our geographical proximity is something that is making us buy more products from China. Okay, our our the import from China is very more because of this geographical proximity. So Russia is something we cannot ignore it, because Russia, the China, everything is in the very close proximity for us. Okay, and it is unclear if the US has appetite for another. If the US is saying the sanction for the Russia, then Russia's one of the important partner who is trading with Russia is China itself. So if Russia trade something related topic, if Trump is strongly saying, then China may enter into the phase, and US China will have a tug of war. So whether US is ready for such situation, because now the situation in USA is completely different. The politics, the local politics of that region is something not highly in favorable of the president right now. That is, he himself is in a good play to make himself worth of that position. So in such cases, if allowing a trade bar with the China is something that is feasible for US or not, is one important point to be discussed. Okay, this is the one topic. So next topic is that the China's GDP is growing at the 5.2 percentage in the second quarter. Okay, so according to official figures, this is what the data. This means despite the high tariff, that is one of the, you can relate this two articles, because the US has imposed heavy tariff. Okay, even for that, the China has imposed a re tariff. Okay, counter tariff. The counter tariff was imposed by China. So, despite all these things, the GDP of a country who is facing the highest tariff from US is increasing. This is something very satirical for USA, because higher tariff imposed by United States, the value of economic output, all the goods and service inside China during second quarter was 5.2 more than the economic output during the quarter. So China's GDP is growing. This is second consecutive quarter in which China's GDP growth has beaten the expectation. So the global analysts have said that this a prediction, but beyond that global prediction, the China's GDP is growing, because the China's GDP was supposed to be low because of this kind of tariff. But despite all these US tariffs, the China showed a positive sign. The market estimates that the second quarter GDP is pegged at about 4.5%. At this rate, China looks set to achieve its annual target. Annual target growth of GDP for China is 5%. However, most analysts outside the country still expect China to grow slow in the second half. So now let's see what is the economic challenge of China. Why it is important for mates? Because the country with whom we may have a different scenario of international relationship. Because if morning the relationship is one thing, the evening the relationship with China may change. Okay, that is the situation. So in such case, being a one of the important trade partner, being a very nearest neighbor, being a means our water resources, etc. So many things we are connected to China in many aspects. So in that case, if China's economic challenge, how that is affecting China, it may be opportunity for India also. So in as aspirants, you should see what is the economic situation and the nearby neighboring countries also, because when Sri Lanka economic crisis happen, or in Bangladesh economic crisis happen, what is happening with India is also one of the important aspect to have in mind, so you can develop a better policy. For 3 decades, China's economy grew at an explosive pace. Okay, on the back of historic manufacturing booming that has allowed for an increased share of global export. Within the country, there was massive expansion of physical infrastructure also. Like now, India, we are our GDP is also growing because of one reason, that we are expanding our physical infrastructure. But when you go for the disaster management paper, I will say one more point. Like, we are doing a massive expansion of physical infrastructure that is contributing to a GDP increase in one side. But the same side, are the construction climate resilient? Are the construction the geography based? Because what happens, some of the construction is happening after the construction is not getting into the use. So these things are affecting our economy. The GDP that we expect to grow is sometimes getting pulled back by these kind of this flash floods, etc. So that is one thing we have to see. The dependence of export on the external front and real estate on domestic front created structural imbalance for the China. In the past several years, many countries have turned away from the globalization and turned away from globalization to global trade, even as the economics has slowed. As the share of exports in China's GDP has fallen, the growth also got affected. That said, even now export contribute 20% of Chinese GDP. That is, China's GDP is one important factor that is contributing to China's GDP is that exports. Okay.